Rejection can sting, but how a man handles it reveals his true character. High-value men understand that setbacks are part of life, including relationships and dating. They don't let rejection diminish their worth or steer them off course. Instead, they use it as a stepping stone for growth and self-mastery. Today, let's discuss 10 powerful ways that high-value men handle rejection with maturity and poise, showing that their value isn't defined by others' opinions. 1. They accept the rejection as final, not as a challenge. High-value men respect boundaries and take no as a definitive answer, not an invitation to pursue harder. They don't see rejection as a challenge or play games to try to change someone's mind. Instead, they accept it gracefully and move forward. When someone isn't interested, a high-value man doesn't waste time overthinking or questioning himself. He respects their decision. By accepting rejection, he demonstrates emotional maturity and an understanding that chemistry can't be forced. This mindset not only keeps his dignity intact, but also leaves an impression of self-assuredness. Women and people in general respect a man who can take a no without resistance. 2. They remain unshaken and composed. Rejection doesn't shake a high-value man's confidence. He remains composed, recognizing that his worth doesn't hinge on someone else's approval. Instead of reacting impulsively or with emotion, he keeps calm and lets the moment pass without making a scene. The sense of inner calm shows a high degree of self-respect. Others notice this composure and admire the way he handles tough situations. While some might react with frustration or even anger, a high-value man's self-control speaks volumes, subtly communicating that he's secure enough not to let external events disrupt his sense of self. 3. They avoid self-deprecation or excessive criticism. Instead of allowing rejection to feed into self-doubt, a high-value man avoids self-deprecation or obsessive criticism. He doesn't internalize the rejection as a flaw in himself or spend hours overanalyzing what he could have done differently. Self-blame is not part of his strategy. By not tearing himself down, he maintains a positive self-image. This resilience allows him to keep going, rather than getting stuck in a loop of self-criticism. When others witness this approach, they see a man who's grounded, self-assured, and who knows how to keep his self-respect intact, regardless of external opinions. 4. They see rejection as redirection. A high-value man views rejection not as a dead end, but as a redirection. He recognizes that when one door closes, it often leads to an opportunity elsewhere. Rejection in his eyes is a nudge to explore other avenues, whether in relationships, career, or personal pursuits. He keeps his focus forward, knowing that the right opportunity awaits him. This perspective keeps him optimistic and goal-driven. By treating rejection as a form of redirection, he shows a sense of purpose and adaptability, qualities that are highly attractive to others and help him stay focused on what truly matters. 5. They keep their response short and respectful. When rejected, a high-value man keeps his response respectful and brief. He doesn't demand explanations or try to extend the conversation, nor does he look for closure or reassurance. Instead, he gracefully acknowledges the other person's decision and moves on without resentment. A simple, polite response is all he needs to communicate that he respects their choice. This approach makes his response both dignified and memorable. By not overreacting or prolonging the interaction, he signals his emotional intelligence and leaves a positive impression, even in situations that could have been uncomfortable. 6. They turn their focus to self-improvement. Instead of letting rejection define him, a high-value man uses it as motivation to grow. He assesses areas in his life he can improve, not out of insecurity, but from a desire to become the best version of himself. He might revisit his goals, pick up new skills, or dive into a passion project that adds more value to his life. This productive response shows resilience and forward thinking. While some might let rejection drain their energy, a high-value man channels it into self-enhancement, making him not only stronger, but also more attractive in the eyes of others. 7. They don't seek validation from the rejector. High-value men don't go back to the person who rejected them, seeking validation or approval. They don't fish for compliments or attempt to change their mind by winning them over. When they hear no, they understand that it's not a reflection of their worth, and they don't need the rejector's praise to feel valued. This lack of neediness is a testament to their independence. By not looking for reassurance, They make it clear that their self-esteem is not tied to anyone's opinion. This independence is powerful and often respected by others, as it shows he's confident on his own. 8. They prioritizes their goals and keeps moving. Instead of fixating on the rejection, a high-value man shifts his focus back to his own ambitions and goals. He doesn't let a setback distract him from his vision or undermine his momentum. By putting his energy back into his personal objectives, he ensures that rejection doesn't derail him from what truly matters. This resilience speaks volumes, showing that his life is already rich with purpose. Others are naturally drawn to this kind of focus and admire his ability to keep progressing, no matter what challenges come his way. 9. They find humor in the situation, when appropriate. Sometimes a high-value man uses humor to lighten the sting of rejection, especially if the situation allows it. He doesn't make fun of the person rejecting him, but might find a lighthearted way to brush it off. This humor shows that he's not taking things too seriously and that he can handle life's ups and downs with ease. Humor can make rejection less of a blow, turning it into just another part of life. This lighthearted attitude shows that he's secure enough to laugh at himself and the situation, making him more approachable and showing that he's truly in control of his emotions. 10. They move forward without regret. A high-value man doesn't look back on rejection with regret or what-ifs. He accepts it as a natural part of life, learns any lessons he can, and keeps moving forward. He doesn't hold grudges or carry emotional baggage. Instead, he lets the experience add to his growth. Moving forward without regret shows a mindset that's grounded in growth, not setbacks. It's this ability to accept what's out of his control and focus on his journey that defines him as a high-value man. And when others see this in him, they know they're dealing with someone who's not only confident, but also emotionally mature. 11. They don't broadcast the rejection. A high-value man keeps his experiences, including rejections, to himself rather than discussing them openly or seeking sympathy. He understands that making a public spectacle of a private experience diminishes his self-respect and gives undue power to the rejection itself. By keeping it discreet, he demonstrates maturity and respect for himself and the person involved. Others see this as a sign of emotional intelligence, as he's showing that he doesn't need external validation or sympathy to move on from a setback. 12. They acknowledge it as a learning experience. For a high-value man, every experience, including rejection, serves as a lesson. He approaches it with a growth mindset, asking himself if there's anything constructive he can take away. He doesn't dwell on it, but he reflects on whether there's something he could have improved upon for future encounters. This makes rejection a tool for refinement rather than a source of pain. Instead of feeling defeated, he walks away with insights that strengthen his character, and this attitude of learning over sulking is incredibly attractive to others. 13. They keep a long-term perspective. A high-value man views rejection as a small moment in the grand scheme of his life. He knows that what may feel significant today often loses its intensity with time. He doesn't let short-term disappointments cloud his long-term goals or happiness. This approach allows him to stay focused on what really matters, rather than getting hung up on a temporary setback. People respect this ability to see beyond the immediate, recognizing it as a mark of wisdom and strength. 14. They maintain dignity and avoid retaliation. Instead of reacting with bitterness, a high-value man maintains dignity and refrains from any form of retaliation, whether that's gossiping or subtle digs. He doesn't let the rejection embitter him or influence how he treats the person or others moving forward. This respectful reaction speaks volumes about his character. Even in disappointment, he shows that he's above petty responses, reinforcing that his self-respect isn't tied to how others treat him. This attitude earns the admiration of those around him, who see a man who won't compromise his principles. 15. They turn rejection into humor for self-reflection. A high-value man is able to laugh about his rejection, not in a way that dismisses the experience, but in a way that makes him more relatable and grounded. He might even joke to himself or with close friends, turning it into a lighthearted story rather than a painful memory. This doesn't mean he takes it lightly, but he uses humor as a way to keep things in perspective. This ability to laugh at himself without losing respect makes him approachable and real. It shows he's human, not taking himself too seriously, and that he's able to bounce back with grace. This trait of self-reflective humor draws people to him as it shows resilience and humility. If you have made it this far, let us know what you think in the comments section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.